So welcome to Tales of Jemmora, the Kraken's Wake, our bi-weekly D&D show that's come back after a long break. Much needed show that's come back after a long break. Yes, our fifth player, Matt, is on his way. He was just taking care of some church stuff. And then he's got to grab dinner, and he will be here. But he didn't want to hold us up. Again, thank you for tuning in. Just a couple quick things before we start. Because we've been away for a while. First off, we would like to welcome Autumn.
Yay!
Hello.
Hang on, I'm trying to pantomime as per the screen. Yes, to our show, a veteran of Dark Matter, and so sort of reprising a spellcaster role for Tales of Jemmora. This game is going to pick back up after a bit of a time skip. So for those of you that haven't been listening in a while and are worried, this would actually be a great time to get back into the show. So like there may be allusions to stuff that happened, obviously, but it's intended to be sort of things have quieted down and are now ready to start picking back up. Not at all unlike real life. So let's see. Also, for those that have been fans of the show before and are familiar with our plot coins mechanic, that's what all these coins are in the top left corner of everyone's windows. That is a special mechanic that we do for Tales of Jemmora. So plot coins, players get one at the start of each session, and they can spend it to alter the story or the game in some way. Before, it was kind of more open-ended. We have provided some framework and restriction to it so that it's a little, less open-ended, and it puts less pressure on a player to come up with how they want to use it. And I think made it a little more tactical, so it provides some more gameplay element decisions to it. But basically, you can spend it to just auto-succeed on a d20 roll. You can spend it after you make the d20 roll to improve a success, or turn a failure to a success, or you can spend it to prevent an enemy from succeeding. It's a little more nuanced than that, but I don't want to bore you with the details. And let's see. I guess... So what we can do for now is introduce the cast, and we'll introduce Matt later. Excuse me. So, I'm your Dungeon Master, Sean Hayes, 8-Bit Adventures here on Twitch. And to viewers' right of me is our Warforged Bard, Sean Robbins, playing at Twixen. Okay. To his viewer's right is Courtney Bolin playing May, our elven rogue.
Hey everybody. Yeah, I'm back. Unkillable May at this point. Although
Are you though? Because it's not that you're unkillable; it's that you die all the time.
That's the thing. I just keep coming back, so it's great that I'm revived.
Yeah, it's that you just don't stay dead.
Yes, that's it.
And then starting on the second row is Josh York reprising his role as Jacobin, our human, I should stipulate, vengeance paladin.
Yes, Jacobin, #1 paladin all time. Check the ratings. It's 100% true. Top rank, high score. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, #Jacobin lies.
Bottom center, Autumn is playing Azealia, a new addition to the party, a high elf wizard. And then later, when Matt rejoins us, Matt Tucker, also our producer at PCTV, is playing Zarin, an Aasimar sorcerer. Divine sorcerer. Again, I feel like that warrants stipulation because, like, it's very different than regular sorcerer. So are there any announcements before we begin?
No, I've just needed this for far too long.
Okay. All right, then. So, without further ado, we now have also a new opening sequence. Ooh. So we're going to start doing that right now. And there we go. Hope you all enjoyed that. Players didn't get to see it. I will show them at some other time. But
I can't wait to see it. It sounds
It's awesome.
I saw it.
Cool.
It's cool.
So, yeah. All right. So, to borrow the phrase from another wonderful D&D podcast, let us part the veil of reality, shall we? And we are no longer secluded in our homes, but on the tropical island of Ogara, which is home to the town of Deepwater, a town that you all have come to know and come to call some semblance of home. We will start, I think, with May.
Okay.
So, it has been 1 month back in Deepwater since your journey back, and 2 months since you left the sort of foggy island nation of Twillin.
Oof. Mm-hmm.
You had a much less eventful voyage back than you did on the way there. And actually, everything went pretty well, all things considered.
Nice.
Yeah, everybody seemed to be getting along much better. And you received a couple items of correspondence via magical delivery.
Yes.
So a couple letters, both of just progress with your herbalist shop, as well as 1 or 2 updates from the local Whispers chapter from Whisper Jack.
Okay.
Okay. So basically noting business is good. Business has actually picked up. It seems that Deepwater is gaining more and more of a reputation, especially now of the discovery of this set of ruins in the center of the island. There's a lot more archaeological interest in the island than there was before. So now it's adding another facet of archaeological as well as economic interest.
Okay.
So,
nice.
Yes. You've also been corresponding with Whisper Jack as to how your mission went in Twillin. And as part of the agreement with the Whisper Cell in Rosington, you have been given the official rank of Whisper. So you now hold the title of Whisper May. Which entitles you to access, free access to the local Whisper safe house, as well as a vault for you to store any of your valuables.
Oh, nice.
Or anything that you might want to keep in there. So, you already know where the safe house is. It is under the Ripper Rock Tavern. As you all have been there before. But the vault is in a secure location in that safe house.
Do I technically remember where that is?
Because I'm gonna say with your new subclass,
Okay.
That you do retain that knowledge.
Okay.
I think you were technically like a spirit floating above your body when that happened anyway, so I think you probably...
Yes, but Sean said before a lot of that stuff I didn't remember.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
That was the creepy, scary being as well. Yeah.
Okay, so I actually got a message from Matt that he is here, although he hasn't joined the call yet. So
Nani?
Nani.
Who's this Matt you...
Upon arrival back in Deepwater, business has been good. You kind of just went back into the fray of working the old 9 to 5 at the herbalist shop with your employees Alet and Sariel.
Yes.
And then as you've been working alongside, you and Sariel have bonded pretty closely and spending a lot of time together, going out for brunch, some dinner after work, spending a lot of time together, and the two of you kind of becoming a little item.
Yay!
So, whether that's good for business or not, we'll have to find out. But all in all, positive and good.
Okay.
Also of note, not really any interference from a certain other party member. Let's say any negative interference.
Wow.
There was an interesting sort of tense moment the first time Jacobin walked into the shop because there are still posters that say no admittance to this man.
Yeah, all over the place.
But we will get to later how that transpired. For now, what I need you to do is I need you to roll a percentile die and add 30 to it.
Okay. Like a pair of percentiles?
So percentile dice is a set of 2 dice.
Double?
It's
Okay.
one for the 10s and one for the 1s.
Yeah. It was a 67.
A 67 total?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
no, and then plus 30. Plus 30.
So it's a
you said?
97.
Yeah.
So you rolled 67 on the dice.
I rolled 67 on the dice. Yes.
Okay. So all right, so that is a 97, so that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So your shop during that first month, let's see, made a profit.
Maths.
Of, let's see, we'll say 100 gold pieces.
Wow. Okay. All right. That's really good.
I'm going to need you to roll it again for the second month.
Mm-hmm. Another 97. I can't make this up.
Okay. There we go. Oh. All right. So I'm gonna have to fix. I'm just gonna have to fix everybody's locations. But this one's even better.
Hey, I'm Matt now.
This one's even better. So I just need to do some math. So
Hello, friends.
Hello, friends. We're doing
Hello.
math
Hello,
to
hello.
figure out how much my shop made while we were gone.
Nice.
So the second month, Courtney, May's shop makes. Hang on. I had it. I swear I had the number. 400 gold pieces.
Whoa, what?
It's 3d10 times 18, and I rolled 22.
Whoa.
Oh.
So is this include? So you said this is the profit. So this is including paying Sariel and Alet, or
That's profit.
Profit.
That's
Not revenue, that's profit.
net profit.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna physically move people instead of actually like refiguring out where things are supposed to go. I'm just gonna move this stuff and I'll rename it later. So let's see. So, okay. So that's how much you've made. So basically a grand total of 500 gold.
Yeah.
Now, that is, of course, that's the shop's money. So, you know, I mean, you can certainly keep that in the shop if you want. Or, you know, because it's profit, you can draw it out and use it for whatever purposes you'd like.
Okay. Cool. All right. I'll talk with you about what I've planned to do with that.
Oh, also, let's see. As far as what gifts and trinkets you picked up.
Yes, because I picked up presents on our way
You did.
back. I picked up...
We're going to use my favorite table in the 5th edition Player's Handbook, which is the trinkets table.
Oh.
All right, so Courtney, I'm gonna need May to pick someone that she is trying to find a present for.
Honestly, I probably would have focused on. As I said, there was a lot of different people that I wanted to get gifts for. A lot of different people.
Well, you're gonna have to pick somebody first.
Yes. I think honestly, I would have picked Twixen first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to roll a D100.
87.
87. You found it's an iron holy symbol, or what appears to be a holy symbol. It's devoted to some. It's like in the shape of a dragon. So like, which is kind of weird because
there's no dragons in Jemmora.
Yeah, so there's dragon iconography in Jemmora. And like the god of the sky, Lokdov, is depicted as a dragon. This is not one such holy symbol.
Cool. All right. Okay.
Now for the next person.
Then it would have been Meloria.
Okay. Roll again. This is everybody's just getting random trinkets. That's how we're doing this. One. It is a mummified goblin hand. That you know, she has expressed interest, but like she is the ship's cook, but she has experience that she her background is like both an explorer and a little bit of like a historian and archaeologist. So she actually thinks this is really interesting.
And also, I think me being her roommate, like I would have seen that and been like, "Oh, dude, this is just the type of weird that Meloria would like."
Yeah.
You know. Insights.
Yes.
Just gonna keep rolling.
So, who's the next person?
Next would have been Seraph, and I got a 16.
And a 16 for Seraph.
Yes.
So it's an old divination card. So like an old sort of tarot-like card that bears your likeness.
My likeness?
Your likeness, that of May's likeness. So it's like a card depicting like an herbalist, and like an apothecary.
Cool. Very fun.
Um,
Very fun.
let's roll twice for Kaleo and Kalea,
Yes,
the lizard folk people.
99 and 23.
It's a wooden box with a ceramic bottom that holds a living worm with a head on each end of its body. As well as a brass orb etched with strange runes. And it seems to shift as if it was a little puzzle box. Little puzzle orb.
That actually works out for both of them.
Yes. And basically, to kind of speed things along, you find various knickknacks like these things for everyone on your list.
Yay!
But it's a fun table, so I wanted to...
Yes, that is fun. That
go
is
through
fun.
that. So, let's go next to Jacobin.
Oh, hey.
Oh,
that's right. I've got to get back into character.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, you
It's been a
do.
long time.
And wow.
Hang on, I just have to make sure that everybody's plot coins are showing.
My black card is showing.
Robbins and Tuck, make sure to add those awesome items into your inventories, because I totally would have given them to you.
On it.
Yeah.
Equipment. Other possessions.
Yes. So, and I guess for the benefit of viewers that haven't seen the show in a while, May, would you please describe May?
Yeah, May is she is a wood elf, and so she is, stop it and go where I would like you to go, please. Female, green eyes, kind of a medium build, about 5'5", with like reddish auburn hair, pale skin, and she, now that she's home, she very much enjoys our island culture, and she very much enjoys living very free. Think of, your typical Mediterranean kind of just loose tops. She likes shorts though. No, just not a fan of skirts. And just like flip-flops when chilling at home. She also always has this faint odor around her. It's a bit skunky. And she's got it for sale. In the apothecary as well.
Yeah.
Which might be another reason why it's awesomely so popular. Yeah, she's a total stoner.
She runs the weed shop.
I do.
Oh, I get it now.
Wait, you do?
For the benefit of the audience, this is a campaign that we have been playing for almost 3 years now.
Yeah.
So
almost.
this is a bit of a running gag.
Yeah. Yep.
So, okay.
Yep.
All right. So, Jacobin.
Yes.
Why don't you describe your character first before we go into what you've been doing? Since
Sure,
since your character's look has changed a bit.
Right. So up until this point, Jacobin, physically 6 foot, very athletic tone build. He's usually wearing very heavy armor. When you first met him, like, he had really long, like, dark hair almost covering his eyes, mutton chops, and then he kind of got one of those undercut deals going with a big beard. But now, coming back to the island and after everything that's happened to him so far, and also personality-wise, up to this point, he's been an absolute jerk to everybody. He's been arrogant, cocky, brash, confrontational,
Murderous.
just my way or the highway. Yeah. So now he's much more cleaned up looking. since he's gotten back to the island. Very short haircut, would probably look very similar to my haircut, like very tight part with a very short trimmed neat beard. He hasn't worn his armor much lately. He's been spending most of his time in the smith. But he has been around the town a lot. Mostly just wearing his plain clothes, but he's been spending most of his time offering help and assistance to anybody who needs it. But if you want to get more into that type of stuff, I'll let you, the DM, kind of go for that.
Yeah, so of particular note is that the first time you walked into May's shop is, as I alluded to before, there was a little bit of tension because you still saw your poster on the wall that said, yeah, do not serve this man.
I spent a lot of time trying to thwart her business.
Yeah, and trying to kill Ferris.
Well, I mean, deserved, but
no, Ferris
but,
is a beautiful little. Ferris is a lovely little rat, and he does not deserve your treatment.
After basically sort of some heart-to-heart conversations on the ship on the way back, it's basically when you first come in, after a bit of a start of a heated exchange between you and Allet, who is just very procedure oriented and not exactly very personable. Not exactly very personable, which is why she's more of the accountant than the person who actually sort of mans the front desk. May actually, you basically came to Jacobin's defense and said, "No, it's okay, everything's fine now," and you know, you hadn't really noticed the posters were still up
on the way back. And had a heart.
I do not
heart,
partake in your evil plant smoking.
No, I totally hotboxed you, and like the room is small, man.
It was a boat. You can't really.
The room was small.
Jacob has his own room.
Yeah,
it's much bigger actually, as it is the captain's quarters. But yeah, you took the poster down. And sort of buried the hatchet, as it were. So other notes, the lizard folk that run the inns are particularly happy of this sort of change in behavior.
And is he not super racist anymore?
So just to go in a little more, what I probably would have done on the boat. I would have gone specifically to everybody individually and taken the time to specifically apologize and try to make amends for any specific wrongs I may have done towards them. And everybody on the crew, on the boat, and the party. And then once we got back to the island, I went around speaking to everybody that I believed that I had wronged, including the lizard folk, the council. I looked for Old Salty, but I don't think he was there.
Old Salty is no longer in the town of Deepwater. You do hear he actually he moved out and he took up residence in a place in a fishing village on sort of the northern shore of the Esper Sea called Dusky Shores.
New mission. We have to
Jacobin would have taken a mental note. Jacobin would have taken a mental note. So if he ever ends up there for some reason. So yeah, he spent his time going around to everybody that he believes he's wronged in some way, and not only apologizing, but also offering his assistance in any way possible to help them in any way that he can within his power.
So, Jacobin, for that, make a charisma persuasion check for me.
Not bad. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Let's see.
You dirty 20.
So,
Some might say that.
Basically, because of the goodwill that you have garnered from the occupants in town, across town, sort of you've built up your reputation a bit on coming back. Is you had a little bit of reputation before, is like you guys, got stuff done and protected the town and everything, but like a
I had
little
piece of paper that
wild.
said I could do what I want.
Yes, you still have that piece of paper.
I still have it.
And basically is getting into people's good graces, and so you actually earn a favor from the town that you could call upon.
Wow.
Good to know.
Is that like from the council?
That is, I'm gonna say, I'll leave it up to Josh to come up with who the favor comes from.
We'll see what happens.
I mean, maybe it's from the council, maybe it's from, Kalea, maybe it's from
Envy your
Wilhelm.
energy.
This is more of like
I need to make a spirit bomb.
this is like a social favor.
Oh.
Yeah. No, this is not like calling in supernatural energy. Yeah. So, and yes, the other time is spent sort of reforging and reworking your suit of adamantine armor, and sort of recoloring. Essentially, you spend like 2 weeks transmogging.
Basically.
So yeah.
Anytime I'm not out like in the town I'm spending actually probably most of my time in the smithy working on my stuff. And
so it's for Legend of Zelda fans is when Jacobin is fully geared up for battle, is he looks like Ganon. Because his helmet has it's like a boar visor, and then his pauldrons have like basically boar heads coming off of them, and it's full body plate armor with the big hammer that of course has the boar head on one end.
Yeah, and in those changes, my armor was pretty much all black before it being adamantine.
Mm-hmm.
I've used mostly white lacquer to make it mostly white with like red and gold kind of accents. It's almost like a Knights Templar type of look to it, but
Cool.
Yeah.
it would
Picture
look quite different.
If Ganon was a Knights Templar in Dark Souls, is that is the aesthetic here. So, next up, Zarin. You have also been quite busy. So
I have.
let's see, where did I write that stuff down? So, first up, so we'll say, performing services. I need for that either intelligence religion or charisma persuasion, your choice. For basically, performing sort of everyday duties at the Temple of Kure in town.
Rolling that mother. So
Oh,
that
that beautiful
is
jazz footage.
a 27.
Okay. So you earn 2 favors from the Temple of Kure. So this could be something of social support, reducing the cost of spell casting. Could take the form of a minor miracle or something that Kure provides. So again, sort of like with Jacobin's favor that he gets from the town. I'm going to leave this a little open-ended and kind of I'll work with you when the time is right to call in that favor. So, you have also, on your way back on the boat ride, have crafted a scroll of Revivify. So as part of that, you just need to make sure that you get rid of that diamond that you had, because it consumes that as part of the process. However,
was Jacobin holding on to that? Because like all of our stuff, I know we had one, so now we don't have one.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, you used one when I was eaten by the dinosaur.
Right.
And
And
then
then we
Jacobin
got
used
a second one.
And then there was
Jacobin,
a
I know,
second.
had been-
I think there was a second one that was consumed to revive Twixen.
Right.
And Jacobin had one that he'd been holding on for his brother, which he used.
Well, that was a scroll.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
a scroll. Oh,
That was a
okay.
scroll. Yeah, that was a scroll of true resurrection.
A long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't have my normal notebook with me, guys. Sorry.
I don't see anything about a diamond in my.
But I don't keep track of your inventories.
Yeah, I don't see anything about diamond.
Okay. Well,
Crap.
Smith books from All Heart, Greater Healing Potion is all I have written on the back of my. Page.
I will say that you did have one that was consumed because it's been many months since we've last played. And I am a kind and benevolent DM.
Yay!
And for that, we thank you.
All hail the kind and benevolent DM.
Yay! Okay, so as far as your research, research would require an expenditure of gold.
Okay.
So if you were going to spend 3 weeks doing research, it requires at least 50 gold, but you can spend up to 600 gold more in 100 gold increments to get a bonus on the related check.
Okay. So
Some expensive studying. That is a college education right there.
Well, this
Yeah,
is for important piece of information, and I'm going to say that the expenditure is for rituals because of the nature of the research you're conducting.
okay.
To
If
gain
Ethan
divine
knew you were
insight.
doing this, he would offer gold from group fund to you if you needed it.
We have a group
Okay.
fund.
Yes.
Oh
we have a
wait, no,
lot of
you
money
have
in
a
the
group
group fund.
fund for the ship.
Because I'm the captain and I'm in charge
Yes.
of financial
Yes.
decisions.
It's the
So-
adventuring company funds.
Yeah.
So I spend 50 gold from my personal reserve. I sell the moonstone that I have that's worth 50, and I'll accept 50 from Jacobin.
Okay.
Okay. So this is going to be, I'll say it's an intelligence religion check with a +1 bonus.
Okay. Roll that dice. That is a 15.
Okay. In your research to finding the Exalted Book of Kure, you learn 2 pieces of lore. One is that its last known location was somewhere deep in the heart of Lilinosti.
Okay.
The other piece of lore is that its last known bearer wielded it during the sort of demon invasion.
Oh,
So
okay then.
quite some many hundreds of years ago.
It's been a little bit. All right.
Yeah. So it's been some time since it has surfaced. But its last known location was in somewhere in Lilinosti, or what is now present day Lilinosti.
Okay. Some work to be done.
Yes.
Good.
And then, for conducting the special rites, is you start each day with inspiration for the next 8 days in game.
Cool.
So
Seems good.
yeah,
All right.
So the order of these is a little bit.
yeah, we kind of did
while
them
on-
out of order.
Yeah. So on the boat, plus a little bit at the library when we returned to Deepwater, Seraph is focusing on elements of research when he's not performing duties and rites at the temple. But as soon as he lands in Deepwater, the combined strain of both of his siblings being sent around the Tiltoflush
Mm-hmm.
and his country being sent down the Tiltoflush.
Yep.
Yeah, as far as you are
And-
aware, it is currently still raining on
Yeah.
the island nation of Twillin.
And,
It will
and
be for
all
100 more years.
and all of the other things that have, coincidentally enough, gone down the Tiltoflush. Zarin goes on a small bender.
Yeah, Zarin.
So,
come over to
uh,
dark
and-
side.
And as part of that, I need you to tell me, basically, like what kind of establishments are you frequenting? Are we talking kind of
I
the ones
volunteered
in,
to
like,
upset.
in the ones of like the docking district where it's like the sailors and the pirates and stuff? Or are we talking like the nicer establishments in town?
Based on the depth of the feelings that are going on here, as well as the preference towards more poverty, probably the lower end.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that's dangerous, but let's do this.
Okay.
I do volunteer
All right.
to trip sit this.
So
No,
I'm gonna
no
need,
matter how this ends, Zarin has a, well, this is not how this is going to continue to go. Okay, back to life.
so a charisma persuasion check.
Okay. Dirty 20.
Okay. You've actually made 2 friendly contacts as drinking buddies that you've made during your
Nice.
bender. We can work together to figure out their identities, who they are.
Okay, one of them has to be named Bernie. Like, I feel like that has to happen.
I'm not against that. We can
However,
work on that later.
Yes.
I also need you to roll a d8 because
Oh.
because such activity is complicated, or at least I'm ruling that it's complicated.
Yeah,
No,
it
that's
gets
fine.
It gets complicated.
I'm hoping this is okay. It's a 1.
It's a 1. Okay,
Natural
so
one.
actually, well, on a d8.
Oh yeah.
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 True.
All right. This is it. So actually, kind of the least interesting one is
Okay.
your pocket got picked, and you lost 40 gold
Okay.
at some point during that week.
Fair enough.
And you didn't notice it get picked. Otherwise, like, you would have, told somebody. Obviously, you didn't realize until the end of the week that, like, somehow I have 40 gold missing. But I don't remember most of last week, so I don't know where it could have gone.
Yeah.
I wanted to have a hand in that. Oh man, no.
Yeah,
no.
that's definitely the least interesting of those results. So that's kind of sad, but also it means that we don't have to come up with some interesting scenarios, we'll say. So yes, the timeline is crafting scroll, research on boat, out drinking, finishing up research, working at temple, performing sacred rites at temple. So we're all caught up. Now, in that final week, while you're performing the sacred rites and everything, during your off time, you heard from one of your allied contacts, and we'll say it's from somebody who that you meet up. You know, they meet up with you at the Ripper Rock Tavern, and they overheard, or rather, you're meeting up with them, and you overhear that someone is looking for Tyroline, which you recognize as one of your associates, Hadra's cover identities.
Really?
Yes.
No, I'm not there. I'm not there. I gotta write it down. No, I'm not there.
Yeah.
I'm on a dinner date.
And so, with that, Twixen.
Yes.
So, trying to reconstruct a warforged body for Heather, or Heater, proves a little difficult in that a lot of the resources on the ship were used up when you got revivified.
Makes sense.
However, you recall that there were some materials back in Deepwater, as well as, now that the facility's theoretically purged of Kraken influence. So your companion Lantern suggests that perhaps taking a look in the facility and seeing what resources could be used there. You find out over the course of the time when you get back to Deepwater and exploring the facility that the Allheart in the facility is offline. And as part of that, as part of like your portal research and stuff, is trying to figure out how to bring the Allheart back online, because that's kind of like what powers the facility. And
Wait, did we knock the power out?
unclear.
No, I think Kraken did.
Okay.
Um,
It's been so long. It's just been a haze.
and so it's kind of like that kind of takes a bit of a higher priority. And then once that's back online, you can use its assistance in sort of reconstructing a body for your other companion. As well as conducting, research into like opening a portal to the other facility back in Twillin, if possible.
Perfect.
As far as analyzing the music stylings of the Super Mariachi Brothers,
Yes.
yes, you find that typically those are done in major keys, so it's a bit discordant for you. But you think you're able to produce some. So actually, give
That's
me.
right.
This is going to be an intelligence check that you get proficiency with, because it's going to be based on performance. But it's going to be intelligence is the base ability.
Plus proficiency bonus?
Yes. And I mean, if I don't know if performance is one of your expertise skills.
It is, yep.
Okay, so you're going to double your proficiency bonus.
Perfect. That would be a 23.
Okay, yeah, easy. Yes, you think that you have managed to sort of draft up the musical sequences necessary to essentially remix their preferred tunes into what you would consider perhaps a more fitting key.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is to say, you rewrite all of their music in minor keys.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, this is the type of fun that we have. It's awesome.
The
you do this,
musicians
and they they stop coming by after like the first time you sort of unveil that in one of your sort of musical street battles, and they
Amazing.
just stop challenging you.
Bring it.
Yeah, if they see you performing in a section of town, they will leave you alone and go perform in another area of town.
Perfect.
You
What this
claim your
means
turf.
is that if you ever want to sort of perform during your downtime as a way of income, you're actually able to collect more money because you have your choice of where you want to perform.
Perfection.
So
Nice. Nice.
but one of the things that you discover is it looks like there was a bit of a core breach for the Allheart, so that will need to be sort of jump-started and repaired in order to restart the facility.
Okay.
Now, Jacobin, also, in your sort of going around asking folks and sort of righting wrongs and looking for people that need help, is toward the end of the month, you bump into a sort of new arrival to Deepwater who came in on a Lilinosti trading vessel. And sort of has been trying to... she said she's like looking for someone, but is also has heard of some of the opportunities here in Deepwater, and is also like looking to get outfitted as the trip to Deepwater from Dardanelli has been a bit expensive because it's quite a long journey. Her name is Azealia.
Hello?
Zelia.
And as part of the conversation, Azealia, your contact is Tyrleen, who is a sort of dark elf sort of smuggler who is known for helping to get dark elves out of Lilinosti or into other less populated areas of Lilinosti, as well as also, smuggling interesting goods from the Elven Kingdom out to other kingdoms that are in need of them.
Interesting.
So things like live wood, enchanted spider silk, particularly to Kirinjo, as those are often necessary materials for a lot of the sort of magical architecture that they employ in the Empire of Kirinjo. So you actually have not been in Deepwater for very long, only a couple of days. And you have met up with Jacobin, who has... basically, it seems like he kind of has an idea of like where everything is in town. He seems to be a bit of a local
hero. Hero is the word
Yeah.
you're looking for. Local hero.
Is
Yes.
this basically
Local
like
folk
he's
hero.
the popular kid showing the new kid around it?
a little bit.
Oh, God.
Okay.
And during conversation
And
has
I'm
come
the
up.
stoner in the corner who owns a shop.
As part of the conversation that's come up is that Jacobin, you have brought up the BackStreet Sharks, which is the adventuring company, an adventuring guild. So
We've done all types of like really awesome stuff here, and as you see, everyone loves us. So it's just like we're really awesome here. We're kind of a big deal, and we just do what's right. That's all we do. We can't help it. We just do what's right.
Are you sure you've had no access to any of May's leaf? Are you sure?
100%.
and actually, I do need to make
baby.
I need to make a quick correction, because I'm sorry, I forgot sort of a chunk of Azilia's backstory. Is that it was not from Dardanelli, it was from the Academy of High Arcana. My apologies. Which is why because it comes from Kirinjo into the Esper Sea, it either has to go over the mountains, which is pretty treacherous, or it has to go through the pirate-infested waters of the Reaver Sea, which the rest of you all know that was the last known sighting of your nemesis, the Kraken.
Yes.
The Kraken.
The Kraken.
informant was from Darnandelli, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yes. So, Azealia, you actually have, as far as equipment, I need to roll a d10 here. A total of 750 gold pieces of sort of discretionary funding. Normal starting equipment for a wizard and your background, and one uncommon magic item of your choice.
Cool.
So, you've also found that Deepwater, for a very small village, really, of about, and for the rest of you, it seems to have grown a bit in the couple of months that you've been away. That the population has risen from about 500 to roughly 650, which is a pretty sizable increase. A lot of the new arrivals have either been filling up rooms at the inns, as well as sort of expansion on the outskirts of town.
They're not touching my 5x5 plot, are they?
No, that has specifically been set aside. It was mostly like somebody went out and inquired about it and asked around, and it got word to the town council, and the town council had said, "Oh yes, that plot is being reserved." We're not quite sure what for, but we had specific instructions. So, yeah, you also the rest of you were
like 650 people.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the population had added 150 permanent residents. But despite being a relatively small village, you can actually find quite a few shops that are selling both magic items and some unusual sort of non-magical goods.
Yeah, go check out the trading company.
Yeah, it seems like most of the population here are merchants and like selling to other merchants. So there's a lot of gold flowing around. There's a lot of unusual or sort of exotic items. So a lot of spices you can find here. There's a lot of really decent cooking and varied, wide variety of cooking.
They say the spice must flow a lot. I don't know what it means.
Nice.
Yes.
So just to be clear, the BackStreet Sharks are a delivery company, correct? Or are they a performance?
Oh no!
That's just part. That's just part of what we do. It's just like one minor thing.
So,
We mostly like do like heroic deeds.
what kind of heroic deeds have you done?
We like fought a kraken and basically kicked its ass and made it run away. Like these weird fish zombie monsters. We totally slaughtered them. It was no big deal at all, really. We are always come out unscathed, 100%, no casualties ever. We are just like we're perfect.
That's
We're really the heroes. Hold on, I'm slipping back into my old self. Hold on here. I need to. Sorry, I'm been doing a lot of
Technically, that's
personal work lately,
correct.
and like, the truth is, we have helped this place a lot, and we continue to try to do what we can. We try to do the right thing.
Well, the unscathed part sounds doubtful, but the doing the right thing seems good. This town does seem booming.
Yeah, it's because of us mostly.
I see. Well, they're very lucky to have you here.
Oh, yeah, I would agree 100%. So what brings you to the town here?
Well, I'm looking actually for a person named Tyroline.
It's not familiar at all. I've never heard that name.
I see. Well, with that being known, I am also just here to kind of see what's going on.
Oh, like on holiday or something?
Something like that.
All right, all right. Well, you should go see my friend May if you're looking for a good time. She's got this really, I've never touched it, but this strange
To your
herb
knowledge.
that apparently she's a lot of fun. You should try it out. It's a bit, I think, unholy. I can't be near it. It's not quite up my alley. But hey, if you're into that sort of thing, who am I to judge?
Actually,
check that out.
I was wondering if there's any sort of libraries or anything in the area, or any local news of things going on in the world, anything like that.
Library. Is there a library?
There is a library. It's a small library, but there is one in
Okay.
town.
Yeah. So you may want to check.
You don't
and
want to mention the library underground either, right? Because there's that. Isn't there that kind of big library that the demon
There
Oh,
was
that he took the
something-
books from.
was in?
I did get a special book from there. Yeah, I'll point Azalea in. I'm saying that right?
Mhm.
Yeah, Azalea in the direction of the library. If you like music, I point. You can hear Twixen as we're walking by. I gesture, and you hear the
Yes,
the
the Gujin.
Oh,
strange.
Which,
I'm
so-
imagining you guys like walking through like the courtyard, like the center of town, and so
Mhm.
Yes.
like you see just this. I'm taking a break at this moment in time, and I just watch you guys walk by. And you see me. I'm on just this like stool, like simple little chair, pipe, and this smell that you maybe you smelled it before. I don't know, but I've got some really, really good, pungent. I've been able to like absolutely up my game in the month that I've been home.
Oh, what is that smell?
May only wears green, red, and yellow now. She's got a big.
Which is weird for a
one of the
rogue.
Rastafarian hats. Got her dreads growing. Yeah,
No, she actually wears a lot of teals and blues.
I know.
Hair.
Also kind of weird for a rogue.
Yeah, remember this whole like this.
Also,
ship home.
it should be noted that so May does have a set of glamored studded leather.
Yes.
That
Who is
Yeah.
this curious fellow? Over here in that smell.
Oh, that's May. That's who I was talking about. That's her. Yeah, that smell is her weird plant. I don't know. I try to
I've-
avoid it, but
I've read about this smell before in my studies, but oh, I can't say that I'm a fan.
yeah, I don't know. She likes it, but hey,
you see another sort of short sprightly wood elf come rushing out of amazing apothecaries.
AMAIZING.
In a bit of a huff, and says, "May, I thought I told you that we really shouldn't be causing all this smoke outside the business. It kind of is a little driving people away. Listen, I'm so sorry, Jacobin. Here, let me take care of this." And she reaches into her bag and pulls out like some dust or whatever, and then like basically sprinkles it in May's direction, and it covers it with May. And it's basically like a deodorizer.
okay.
I look to this person
Ariel,
and I
sorry.
say,
I'm sorry.
"Thank
I
you."
hate when you do that.
And the smoke
babe, I'll go
basically
out
dissipates, and it removes
Fine.
the smell.
Fine, babe. I'll go out back. Okay. Ugh.
Like, just not out front, May. Like, we talked about this. Like, I know you're the boss, but like, please.
I look to this person and I go, "Thank you for getting rid of that smell. I very much so appreciate it."
Yeah, well done. You're spot on. You nailed it. So if you're looking for a place to stay, and I point nearby is the the two inns, right?
So nearby to where basically your smithy and May's shop is the nicer inn,
Right.
which is the.
It's
Oh
not
God, I
the
gotta look
Ripper
up the
Rock.
name. I gotta look up the name.
It's the Ripper Rock and then the other one.
It's the Ripper
Yeah.
Rock and the other one, the nicer
It's
one.
the one that Kalea runs.
Yes.
Where Kaleo runs the Ripper.
Hang on, I gotta bring up the article.
Hey,
For more
Regardless,
information about
Jemmora.com,
Deepwater,
people.
for more information about
Regardless,
Deepwater, you can check out
say-
Jemmora.com.
There's this one, and I gesture to the other one, like, here's the nice one, here's the whatever.
It's
Depends
kind of
on
like
what
how
The
every
other
town
one,
has, it's kind of like how every town has two Chinese places, like the good place, and then the one that you go if you're. I can chance food poisoning.
I prefer not to have food poisoning, even though I know we're talking about inns.
Right, never. Not these places. They're run by top-notch people. Amazing ownership.
Is it the BackStreet Sharks who run this?
No, we don't in charge of like the inns or anything. Although
Hmm.
we've helped them out in the past. I'm just shouting out my people and giving them a nice
they're
Yelp
run
review.
by the best people.
Yeah,
The best people
got-
run these inns.
we've got the best
The
people
best.
running these inns.
Oh jeez.
Nice.
Oh no.
You also didn't notice my hair is orange now, and my skin's also got a.
No.
Just kidding.
No.
No,
The
I would
DM
kill
denies
you.
this.
I would kill you in your sleep.
Um,
Like I may be a cruddy
Terrible.
assassin, but
We have the
like,
best inns. They're the best.
I
We've
would
got the best
legitimately
people.
kill your character. And not May, Courtney.
Is there?
we'll call it. It's the Golden Dolphin
Golden Dolphin.
because
That's the inn.
yes. So the Golden Dolphin is the inn. It's a pretty nice establishment. It has so it now it has like an outdoor cafe, as well as the interior is like a lot of marble and white stone, and a lot of very open air. Because as I said, this is tropical. So like it's pretty consistently like mid 70s to mid 80s year round.
Have
in
I
this
been staying
region.
here?
I would say if you wanted to stay at the nicer of the two inns, this is where you would be staying.
Okay, I'm gonna say that this is where I've been staying. If that's
Okay.
cool.
So staying here incurs it's basically lifestyle expenses of 2 gold a day.
Okay. How much gold
Right.
would you like me to take away for that?
I
many
mean,
days
you've
is
only been here a couple days, so we'll say that it's already been factored in.
All right.
So, but yeah, so I mean, and that includes like meals and stuff. So the meals here, fish, prepared with a lot of different spices, as well as sort of roasted vegetables from some of the farms on the outskirts of town, and some fruit that's picked from the sort of interior jungle of the island. But yeah, obviously being on a fairly small island, fish makes up a lot of the menu. Although occasionally there is boar on the menu as well. So the fact that there's
Nice.
consistently
Back on the menu.
consistently meat and fish on the menu makes it pretty upscale establishment.
Most excellent.
Yeah. So on your way, you pass by Wilhelm's forge. You see your big buddy out there working the forge, along with the dwarves from the sort of Smith's Guild that are
Yep.
still.
They're still there?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're still working over a lot of the adamantine that you brought back
They
from
wanted
your
that
initial
adamantine.
True,
excursion.
there was a
They were
lot
thirsty
of
for that
adamantine.
adamantine.
Oh yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So, they give you a wave as you pass by.
Anyway, if I say, "Oh yeah, that's my smithy over there, and that's there's Wilhelm and the dwarves, and That's what I do. I spend most of my day doing most of my work during my free time.
Very nice. So, I'm confused. You say that you're a hero of the town, but you're a
Yes.
smithy?
Yes.
And that's it?
Yes. I'm both.
And an adventurer?
Yes, all three.
Huh. How come I feel like I don't necessarily believe you?
You shouldn't.
I mean, that's just like your opinion, I guess. But hey, I only speak truths.
Twixen, at this point, you've now seen Jacobin walking around town with this sort of scholarly looking elf, who you've seen kind of wandering around town in the town square for a couple days now.
Okay.
May seems to be kind of trailing behind them at a distance.
I'm fascinated by him. I'm still like a month later. I'm still just so in awe of this change, and I'm genuinely
People
wondering.
are generally in awe of Jacobin. I get it.
No, I'm genuinely wondering.
She's waiting for the shoe to drop, Jacob.
I am. I mean, I am. You have not done it to me, so I will not block any advances that you make on this new person. But
Are you speaking in character right now?
a little bit.
Yeah.
Are you hitting on me?
What are you talking? No, I'm just. May, why are you? What are you even doing?
Just so you know, I'm not interested.
Me neither. That's not like what this was about. I'm just being friendly and helping.
Can I roll to see if he's deceiving me right now?
You don't need to. Jacobin seems sincere. I'm just gonna put that out there. Is you succeed.
So
I'm just.
So he's not hitting on me.
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm
That's
telling
just
you, whatever
just Courtney being Chaos Crew.
whatever that weed is that she's ingesting and inhaling, it does things to her personality.
Well, I'm also curious. I've seen you kind of walking around a little bit. Who are you?
I am
I haven't-
Izalia. I'm a high sun elf from the Lilinosti Groves, but I have been in Kirinjo as a high associate teacher of the School of High Arcana.
Well, that sounds quite fancy.
You also notice, Izelia, that May also has sort of a badge on, that she has on, let's see, Courtney, where would May have basically a badge to signify that she is a member of the BackStreet Sharks Guild?
You have a badge?
Yes, that has been part of your efforts and initiatives
Yeah.
to legitimize your adventuring
Badges?
company.
Badges! We don't need no sticker badges!
It's in the shape of a shark.
Yes. Well, I will use the shape of Jester. In all of my just flowy, it would actually probably be along my hip.
Okay.
Because I imagine I'm wearing kind of like loose pants with just like a belt kind of sash.
So you would have like a medallion then
Yeah.
on your belt. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah.
So you notice that May has this same sort of insignia that Jacobin has.
I think mine I would use as a clasp to hold my cloak or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you part of? I'm assuming that symbol is part of the BackStreet Sharks.
Yeah, that's right. You've got it.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
one of these heroes I've been talking about? I've been hearing about?
Why do you use the quotes? We are heroes.
Right. My bad. I apologize. I roll my eyes.
And I roll them right back.
All right, and I continue on with the tour. I'm like, I'd introduce you to my friend Old Salty, but unfortunately he's moved on.
Yeah, you
not
ran him out of
that, but I mean
town.
like he's moved to a different village.
Yeah, you ran him out of town after.
I mean, I think we were starting to get along. I really felt a connection there with me and him. We were starting to hit it off. I think we're starting to understand one another.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
This is completely not. I don't know why this character shift changed, but like, I'm kind of digging it, and I don't want to mess it up. But I still don't know what's gone on with this change, because this nice Jacobin thing is new. Still.
I knew something seemed a bit off. I would like to say that I am pretty good at perceiving things.
Yeah. I mean, we just got home about a month ago. And a lot went down our last adventure.
May I ask what happened on your last adventure?
Honestly, I'm a bit too baked right now to remember. I just remember vampires and talking kitchen stuff and
So,
oh
I-
yeah,
You put it-
rained
You put it that way, and it sounds like we're crazy people.
so I've heard of krakens, fish zombie monsters, vampires.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Out of all my years, I've never heard of people encountering this many weird things before. Are you sure you guys are heroes?
Well, either that or we're really bad villains. Because we've gotten rid of the bad thing.
Okay.
So,
I just nod.
yeah. It sounds amazing, and when you think about it, I mean, that time while we were helping the orc,
At this point, you
and
see
I just kind of like fade off.
Wilhelm has kind of walked
You
up,
notice my eyes completely glaze over.
and he says, "Mine apologies. I need to borrow Jacobin for a bit. We have to have some work that needs to be done on the armor designs." And he kind of takes Jacobin, and they head back to the forge. At this point, Zarin, you are exiting the library, and you notice May and is speaking with this sort of scholarly-looking elf, and Twixen is kind of sort of approaching from his usual post in the center of town.
Right next.
So, and as a sort of a little bit of a visual difference, Zarin's robes have changed a little bit in color and iconography, almost indicating a change in role in the Church of Kure. He no longer goes around with his hood up and generally keeps his mask attached to his belt, clasped by the BackStreet Sharks clasp.
I see. And so you're here with us right now, correct?
Jacobin, I would not have expected you in the library district.
For clarification, Jacobin's been whisked away
Jacobin
at this point.
Jacobin has been pulled away.
Yes.
While
okay, right.
While May
Now
is
I'm
finishing
following.
talking and is kind of glazing over.
But he is sort of in the
I'm
process of being whisked away.
I'm gonna switch in May. I didn't expect you in the library district. because
That's also
that
fair.
actually makes more sense.
that makes perfect sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Zarin, this
Jacobin
this individual also matches the description of the individual you've heard of inquiring about Tyroline.
Okay, so this is the person who has information on Tyroline. Correct.
No.
Other way around.
So Azealia, you are looking for Tyroline.
Yeah.
So you are unaware that Tyroline is a cover identity for one of Zarin's associates.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. So that's why it's because Zarin has heard that name before. His ears kind of picked up when he heard the name, because it's not a very common name, and so then he started making inquiries. So,
All right.
Yeah, no, Jacobin was shot around, and then Willie came and took him away, and we were talking about all the things that we've killed, including me.
You've been killed?
Several times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that mean you've been resurrected?
Yeah.
That is a high form of magic for sure. Very curious.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I obviously didn't do it myself. Have good friends in the Sharks. So.
You guys are, in some strange way, beginning to grow on me a little.
We are like a family.
Yeah.
so you hear from a somewhat metallic voice behind you is a Warforged, which is incredibly unusual, given that, like, typically outside of Kirinjo, they're not really seen in civilization. But also, still playing a Gujin.
Just like this man right here. Hey, Twixen, have you met Azalea?
No.
Hello.
Azalea, this is Twixen. He's awesome.
Hi, Twixen.
But
Were you the person playing music earlier?
I was. It is a pleasure to meet you, little flower.
It's a pleasure to meet you too. I very much so enjoyed your music. It reminds me of Kirinjo.
I am pleased.
Would you care to play another tune right now?
I sit down and start playing.
yeah.
No preamble, no nothing.
Yeah.
I will actually play a cover of one of the mariachi bands.
Okay. So a minor cover of mariachi music played on a Gujin.
I love it. It's
Yep.
beautiful.
Wonderful specific, which is the best part. Yes.
I stand there just staring with my looking at as like really into what's going on, but not giving affect of whether or not like I fully love it or fully hate it. It's just kind of intriguing, I guess.
Perfect. You and I are gonna get along great.
Quick question: what time of day is it?
It's early afternoon.
Okay, yeah. May's been going at this all morning. Would actually start dancing just a little bit.
Of course
just
she
a
would.
little. Just a little.
What?
So Twixen, you have shared basically some of your progress with the rest of your party about the status of the ruins, so that everyone's kind of aware of like where they're at. And it looks like that in order to kind of restart the core, it's gonna need like a group effort.
Dude, I wish you told me that
Okay.
earlier in the morning.
It does not have to be immediately, but soon.
Okay. Alright.
And so I think this would actually be a good spot for us to take a break.
Okay.
So we're gonna be back in 5 minutes. That's gonna be a hard count on 5 minutes. So not like we
Hard
usually
five.
do, where we say 5-10 minutes and it turns into like a 20-minute break.
Yeah, no, because Courtney has work at midnight.
Yes. So we'll be back in 5. So go ahead, take a break, grab a snack, get a drink, stay hydrated. That's important.
Yes.
And we will be back for the second half of this episode.
Perfect.
Cool.
I'm gonna be right back.
Hi everyone, welcome back. We've got cameras working
Hey.
and OBS is not crashed anymore.
There we
So
go.
my apologies. I have a lot of windows open and I have a lot of things going on. And so like while my computer can handle it, I guess OBS couldn't. So this is also a very graphic intensive overlay that we have here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a lot of elements. But yes, so we were basically talking about the Warforged facility underneath the island and Deepwater. Basically it's going to take a group effort to restore the All Heart. That said, there's also been some rumors of like recent pirate attacks that were happening while you guys were away. Like nothing large scale like when you first arrived on the island, but like the occasional like raid or two. And there
To the
are
island?
yeah, to the island.
Oh no. We can't.
And it sounds like there are reports that there is a pirate crew moored off the northern side of the island.
Is there now?
No.
I mean, this is totally not the DM just like giving you guys things to do.
No, we can't have pirates.
Since we're kind of trying to get back into the swing of things, but yes.
I will go around town with an illusion of Jacobin's jacket on it, rounding up the entire crew, saying, "Oi, gits! We got some pirates."
Well, good news is basically you're all here, save for Jacobin.
Oh.
No. Jacobin is here. He's right here.
Twixen isn't here, but Jacobin is here somehow.
Right.
Okay. Do we need to? Do we?
Oh god, it's
do
the
we-
robot wearing the meat suit.
Yeah. Wearing the face like the brother in Repo the Genetic Opera.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's pirate attacks going on right in here, this place?
So they've been
Not
so
for
they
long.
haven't been like so it hasn't been like a pirate ship shows up and it starts bombarding the town. It's been like
Okay.
basically they'll show up kind of on other sides of the island, and then sort of under the cover of darkness they will like raid a business and make off with some goods and then take off. There has been and this has even started to reach the Academy, is news of that basically all of the the Brotherhood of Corsairs, which is a pirate league in the Reaver Sea, has started to become pushed out of the Reaver Sea due to some force. So current members of the party can basically guess as to why that's happening.
Yeah.
But you have also heard of this elsewhere. And I mean, that was also happening while you guys were still on your journey out to Twillin.
Yeah, I remember them saying something about
Is that you guys were
so-
encountering pirates as far out as
Mhm.
this way.
So the Brotherhood of Corsairs is the pirates that have been pushed out of the Reaver Sea, and they've been coming into the Esper Sea.
Yes.
Okay. And causing trouble.
Yeah, it's basically they situate the sea that's south of Kirinjo that stretches all the way to the dragonborn nation of Cardarel. And sort of they kind of attack ships from both areas. But they've been pushed out, and so they're kind of testing the waters, as it were, on other locations.
I thought we had taken. No. Okay, I'll be right back. And May walks off towards the apothecary.
Okay.
Yeah. For Sean, DM, I am going to ask Sariel to help me sober up, and I am going to get my bug out bag and get my armor on, because I'm not dealing with this.
Okay. That should take you roughly a process of 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Most of which being to put your armor on.
I think it's 5 minutes to don armor.
For light armor?
Maybe not for light armor. Yeah.
So I look
don't-
at I look at
Yeah.
everybody and I go, that who is still here, and I go, so I've heard of this, but there's a pirate attack happening right now?
Not at the exact moment in time, I believe,
I see.
but in
Well, I can help you guys if you need it.
would love to take you up on that. As acting captain,
Oh, we didn't catch the
We didn't
last
catch
part of that,
that.
Sean.
as acting captain, I accept.
Okay.
He's acting captain. He's accepting something.
Yeah.
Your offer.
There we go.
Hey!
Huzzah, we
Hey.
got there.
Yeah, so about you're right, it only does take about a minute to
Yeah.
so May comes back out, and you notice that she is walking with much more purpose in her steps. Her eyes are clear, and she has, it looks like she changed her clothes out of, the nice flowy, more Mediterranean, and she's wearing now what look like just like jeans, boots, jeans, quote unquote,
Yeah, there's no denim in Jemmora.
yeah. But just like, it just looks like slacks, really. With mid calf boots, and a green cloak around her. And it doesn't look like she's wearing any armor. But I totally am.
Yeah, and it's if you inspect it, it is
Yeah.
a visual illusion.
Yeah.
That it's not a transmutative effect.
But yeah, okay, all right, guys. We no pirates. We got to get rid of them. We've got to get rid of these guys.
To the ship! Come, little fly. Introduce you to the Hammer's Folly.
All right. I will follow right behind you.
Oh, also, there's a No, he wouldn't come with me on this. Never mind. No Ferris. We're still at home. No Ferris.
Yeah. So,
he could stay safe at home with Sariel.
so you all are going to take the folly out to the location. Yes. Okay.
Guess so.
Okay.
Yeah, we are.
So, just for a point of order, are you rounding up the rest of the crew, or are you going to go with essentially a skeleton crew?
We are rounding up everyone.
Okay.
I put on my best Jacobin impression, complete with illusion of flowing clothes.
Okay. So
And
the only
what's
folks.
funny is people respond to him better than they would have responded to Jacobin in person.
Yeah. The only folks that you can't round up are Jacobin and Wilhelm.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to be working on some. Are we really going to do this bit?
Yes. Yes, we are.
So Wilhelm, then, as they are working on, there's some sort of snag that's happened with the adamantine research, due to, I don't know, some nature of the property, and there's some still lingering element of corruption that they need to sort out. So, but you make your way to the ship. This is an unusual ship. There are no masts and there are no sails. It looks like the standard hull and deck of a sailing ship, without those accoutrements. And there's no rigging. However, there is on sort of the forecastle and you've only seen these in a couple, and Azealia, a couple of sort of archaeological journals about the ancient civilization relic, is these weird cannons, basically. There was like some kind of incomplete diagram in one of them that was noting that was salvaged and repurposed for the Imperial Army in Kirinjo. This sort of magical cannon that sits at the front, that is being stationed by a blue dragonborn. There are also smaller of these arcane cannons in the back, as well as sort of this unusual control mechanism at the helm that Twixen jumps up to and, mans his station.
Crew, prepare to move out.
Okay. You might want to hold on to something.
I grab onto is there a post or anything nearby that I can hold on to?
Yeah, there's plenty of railings, and, although there isn't any rigging, there are ropes and other elements to hold on to something. There's also several below-deck layers. So.
All right, I'm going to hang out wherever the crew is going.
Okay. I would assume most of you are probably staying above deck.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. So then you set off. Now, the island that Deepwater's on is not very big. We have established this prior to the break, or prior to when we took an extended break, not the break in this episode. The island is only about 7 miles across, and it's roughly in the shape of a circular island. And your ship moves pretty quickly. It moves at about the speed of 10 miles an hour, which is pretty fast for a vessel. I mean, you know, like compared to a motorboat, it's like idling speed, kind of, but it's still a lot faster than like most of the sailing ships that you could find. So basically, it'll take you less than an hour, maybe around 45 minutes, to get basically around the island to the top side.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the weather's pretty clear, so you have good visibility. And you do see off in the distance, because again, your visibility is pretty good, you can see like some of the other islands. And what I'm going to need is one person who is standing lookout to make a wisdom perception check for me.
Sure.
Can I do that?
Sure.
All right.
Okay.
I got a 9.
Okay.
Honey.
Um,
That's my
so-
modifier.
I have a +5 too.
So, Azela, you're keeping watch, and you can see, you don't see any evidence of a pirate ship, which you would, because again, it stands pretty well out if there was one docked off of the side of the island.
Twixen?
Yes.
Do you sorry, Azalea, you let us know that, right?
Yeah.
You don't see it. Twixen, I think we might have to go down.
Copy that.
Go
I put
down.
so
Yeah, just don't freak out.
a transparent dome, and the ship starts to go underwater.
Don't freak out. Don't freak out.
Yeah, so the ship starts to descend, and it's not a dome that's like a wall of force or something, so much as it's just like the water shimmers in an area around the ship, or at least the top half of the ship, as you descend underneath the water.
I have missed this.
Mm.
This is definitely
Can I make
interesting.
a perception check to see if we see anything in the water?
Sure. I am gonna say that because it's underwater,
Yep.
make it with disadvantage.
Okay. 14.
Okay. So, you see, I mean, outside of, like, schools of fish and everything,
Mhm.
and there's the occasional shark that swims by, you don't see anything out of the ordinary,
Okay.
until you start to get your way about halfway around the island.
Okay.
And keeping watch. And you do see it's looking back up toward the surface. It appears that there is another ship that is sort of hiding behind one of the other islands. So it looks like that if there was a pirate attack, or pirates that like made ground on this island, they probably came in smaller vessels, or were dropped
Okay.
off, and then a skeleton crew like went and hid the boat.
Okay. All right. Don't like that. Don't like that.
So we can see the main vessel behind it.
You can see like parts of it poking out from behind the other island. but like there's no indicate because you're underwater. There's no indication as to how many crew members are on that ship.
Does it look
And like
about the same size
and
as
because
the
you're looking
Folly, or...
because you're looking at it from underwater, you
Mhm.
also like you don't see a lot of details of the
No.
ship itself. You just see the bottom of a ship.
Okay.
Can we be reasonably sure, based on the information we have, though, that it's that this is the pirate ship and not some random merchant that we're going to mess up?
I would say that would depend on how much stock you would put in gossip around town.
Aha.
Men, prepare for a whole breed.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a man.
All you meat parts look the same.
Oh jeez. Oh boy.
That's
Uh.
Twixen. That's all Jacobin.
Well, yeah, you need to change the setting to New Jacobin.
Back it down a little.
Hasn't yet processed new.
Hasn't assimilated New Jacobin personality matrix yet.
That's what I'm going for. Thank you.
Yeah.
You haven't gotten that update yet.
That patch has not.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
That's awesome.
The patch has not. Just, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you're basically gonna go after the ship.
We're gonna drive underneath it and do our usual whole breed.
Okay. So you're gonna get underneath it and like fire cannons at the underside of the ship.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also have
Because
fireball.
Fire
this
and
is
water.
true. But yeah, so one thing is because I don't want to deal with physics is really what it boils down to, is this field that surrounds the ship. Like if you bring the ship up underneath another ship, it doesn't cause the top ship to come crashing down. Like it still gives some amount of buoyancy to such objects.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So basically, we don't necessarily have to roll initiative for this. I don't think because
It's a
you're
surprise
coming in
round.
unawares. So I'm gonna say, here's what we're gonna do: is we're gonna do this with like a skill challenge type thing.
Ooh.
So, we're gonna start with Twixen, and how this is gonna work is, we're basically gonna go in order,
Mm-hmm.
and pick a skill, and you're gonna have to utilize that skill in basically doing this sort of stealth sinking maneuver that the crew of the Folly has practiced many times before.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, we're
So-
pretty good at it.
So Twixen, I'm gonna need
What is
a
it?
check from you. So it could be either a skill or a tool check.
Yeah,
so-
I was about to ask what I rolled for my like use vehicle.
Yeah. So so if it's not an expertise type thing, it's gonna be, let's say, dexterity plus your proficiency modifier to pilot the ship.
Modify.
The number cut out. 20?
20.
Okay. All right. So you are able to steer the ship unawares underneath and maneuver into position. May.
Yeah. I am going to use my perception to try and figure out exactly where we should aim these cannons to be able to do the most amount of damage with the least amount of work on our end.
Okay, so you're gonna use perception to try and find a weak spot.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make that perception roll.
14.
Okay. I'm gonna say that you know, like, you've been on a boat
Yeah.
for this whole time, but like you're still not really sure how boats are like constructed.
Yeah.
So you think like just along the middle somewhere would
Mhm.
probably be your best bet?
Yeah, I'm like thinking I'm looking for like, okay, does this have any like damage from any other thing? Or
Yeah, you're not
Is
really
it,
sure.
like-
So you're kind of just
Yeah.
taking a guess.
yeah, basically, oh, there's a seam there if we go there.
Which
in the
is to
middle.
say that's a failure.
Yeah.
So and remember,
Yeah.
you all have plot coins that you can spend too.
Yeah.
So Izelia.
Can I check out the history of this ship to know the making, how it was designed, the particular layout, all that kind of stuff, in order to help with the failed roll?
I'm gonna say, well, it would be a separate roll, but like you
Yeah.
could, I'm gonna say you could use history, at the very least to try and get an idea of like the historical context of this build of ship, and to maybe identify the kind of ship.
All right, I think I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
Nat 20.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So we don't so for Tales of Jemmora, we don't necessarily do like a 20 or a 1 as an automatic success or failure on ability checks. However, my guess is that your history modifier is pretty high.
It'd be a 29.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
there we go.
that said, it's still, you know, basically a wild success.
Roaring success.
So yeah, you actually are able to discern from the construction and the support of the hull that this is actually a vessel that was stolen from Kirinjo. And that
How dare they?
based on the construction, it's a pretty good idea that like if you're looking to just like destroy the ship, that chances are powder reserves are kept on the port side, and so targeting that area might cause a big explosion and, you know, cause the ship to sink quite rapidly. So that is a success.
Guys,
Yeah.
if we hit the port side, we'll be able to potentially make the ship explode, thus sinking the vessel.
Zarin.
All guns aim for port.
All right. So I'm trying to think what of my skills, because I'm not going to persuade the ship not to move. Although
You can certainly try.
Yeah, based on my experience in navigation now, I am going to use my insight to determine whether the crew piloting the ship have determined that something is about to be wrong, and B, if they are changing their course in any fashion.
I'll allow it.
He's allowing it!
Yeah.
Yay! Why we love our town.
19 on the roll, 23.
Okay. Yeah, that is a success. So you don't notice anything amiss.
Okay.
You don't get the sense that they have detected anything out of the ordinary. It certainly doesn't seem like there's any unusual shifts in the boat turning or taking off or anything like that.
Jacobin, Twixen, they're holding the current course.
You were right the first time.
I mean, they're also anchored, so I mean they're not
That
like
was my-
moving. Yeah, so
Oh,
they are
oh,
anchored.
okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Which I'll say you also get the impression that because they're anchored, that they're not pulling up anchor either, so they aren't getting ready to move.
Okay.
So yeah.
Good.
Twixen, it's back to you.
I will yelling at the crew in my best Jacobin voice about how they're all a bunch of mangy sea dogs. How they're all a bunch of mangy sea dogs who don't know how to handle their weapons. And a port side of the ship where the powder kegs are. Attempt to intimidate them into doing their job.
Okay.
You're gonna intimidate the crew?
I will allow it. This is going to be a higher DC.
Good. Good.
That would be a 29.
Oh,
Of course. So it didn't really matter. Yeah, basically, using more of like a bosun, spurring them into action, and it not necessarily to like demoralize them, but using sort of a tough leadership style, to spur them into action and to command them, we'll say, to fire off the volley of arcane cannon fire, which you do. And so, let's see. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. If I could have somebody, well, I guess May, you're up next, so it might as well be you.
Yeah.
If you would like to roll a d20, and we'll add 7
Okay.
to the roll. And this is going to represent the ship.
I rolled an 18.
So 25?
25.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the cannon volley is successful.
Yeah.
And you basically blow open a big hole. Under the ship. And so, however, one peculiar quirk is that because you're directly under the ship, is that water doesn't start pouring in. Because there is no water to pour in.
Yeah.
And it did score a hit. And you do notice that a lot of the powder got jostled around. It looks like it's well, you see the powder start smoking and everything. You don't necessarily know how long it'll take for the powder to ignite and explode. One thing to know is that it is currently sitting directly above you.
Yeah, we need to back up. We need to back up and possibly go
Really?
up.
So what I'll need is basically one final roll. And I guess this will be from Twixen, is another sort of piloting check to see if you can get out of there in time.
16.
Okay. So you do manage to full reverse and get out of there in time. So unfortunately, what causes this to happen is the incoming seawater puts the powder kegs out. However, the ship is now sinking. And you do hear sort of muffled sounds of alarm bells and cries going out. They think they've been struck by some sort of large sea monster.
Something like that. So I just want to apologize. Things that happen at my house that don't
No.
happen at
Don't apologize. Hello, kitty.
I've been catted. Continue.
Oh, look at the kitty.
So, yeah. So at least this ship has been sunk.
Yes.
We sunk
Would
their
you say
battleship.
I was about to say, would you say that it was a battleship that we sunk?
No.
Sorry.
Remind me, is this force field around the Folly able? Can I like jump out of the ship?
Yes.
I mean, you could. You'd just be in the ocean.
Yeah, I understand that.
Do you have some sort of water breathing?
Yeah, I don't have to breathe.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have water breathing, you just have no breathing.
I just don't have to breathe.
Convenient.
Because you're not
Yeah.
quite dead yet, but kind
No,
of.
I'm not dead yet.
No, she's not dead yet.
Not dead yet.
Yeah. Oh. Cause the sea goes down really doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it's
This
so
is
these
just-
islands basically go like almost
Yeah.
straight up.
Yeah,
That's why they're
we're
colloquially known as the Pillars of Asperia. And it's like this whole island chain of islands that just go like straight up out of the water. So it is it's a couple 100 feet deep that the ocean goes to here.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna just leave it then.
Okay.
Because I remembered we're at the normal. Quote,
Yeah, and I mean
normal.
like it's basically once you get, maybe like 10 feet offshore, it
Yeah.
drops down to, like 50 feet or so. And then
Yeah.
like when you get like another 10 feet out, it drops another 50 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps going like at that steepness.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no.
so yeah, you do see, you do gradually see there are a number of boats that are launched from the ships, just small lifeboats. Not very many. It looks like this is not the full complement of the crew.
Okay. Okay.
They're on our island. I mean, what?
Okay. All right, we need to go back up, Twixen. We need to get rid of the pirates.
That's fair.
Did you say vampirates?
No, these pirates. Yeah.
Them pirates.
Them
Oh,
pirates.
Them pirates.
Yeah.
Vampirates. I was like, that's amazing.
I mean,
No.
vampirates, I'm pretty sure would be the bane of this group. Or
Yeah.
Well, it has been a couple months since I've almost killed a party member with Dawn, so
yeah, it is true. Yes. Yeah. Not the spell with dish soap. So,
I'm curious.
no, it's a
first-
spell.
First level spell, summon dish soap.
Yeah.
I would think that would be a cantrip.
Yeah, I think that's a
That's what
cantrip.
prestidigitation is.
Yes, prestidigitation just cleans something, yeah.
Ooh.
So, Yeah. So, yeah, if you continue your investigation around the island, around the island that Deepwater's on, you can see. So basically, these lifeboats that were coming from the ship are just going to the island they were directly anchored off of. And you head back to Ogara, which is sort of your quote-unquote island. And you're able to see what looks like a camp, sort of just over the border of when it transitions from beach into jungle. Or like the remains of a camp. It looks a little deserted right now. But with sort of the commotion, as you approach closer, you do see there is movement coming from out of the jungle, in an array of distress, we'll say.
Okay.
I head in that direction.
Okay. We'll say that in a sort of dramatic moment, the Hammer's Folly sort of crests the top of the water and breaches. Like it's sort of like the Flying Dutchman, you mean?
Yes.
Artifacts.
So
Just
good.
breaches the water and basically rights itself on top of the surface of the sea. We'll say right off of the beach, to where this camp is located. And you see more of these pirates starting to assemble.
Do we recognize any of these pirates?
You do not.
Okay. I'm like, wait a minute. I was just thinking about that. Wait a minute. We know pirates. Do we know any of these pirates?
With that, I think that's actually where we're going to end things for tonight. Just because it's about 10:15. Courtney does have to get to work, and just with sort of the myriad of issues that we had tonight. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for your support. I know it's sort of these weird times. We are doing the best we can. And so hopefully, well, at least on my end, we'll have some stuff figured out as far as camera placement, so that I don't have to muck about with that on the stream and crash OBS to do so.
Yeah.
So I will create a unified VOD and put that up on the Twitch channel. So that way that will be available for those, so that you'll be able to watch the full episode just from start to finish. But again, thank you for your support. If you want to see more content from 8-Bit Adventures, be sure to check out 8-bitadventures.com. If you want to learn more about the Tales of Jemmora setting, you can check out Jemmora.com. And if you want to help support this podcast and other shows from 8-Bit Adventures, be sure to check out patreon.com/8bitadventures. You can become a patron and get access to like exclusive comics. There is some exclusive content for Tales of Jemmora available for patrons. Namely 3 custom subclasses for the campaign setting. One for bards, one for rangers, and one for artificers. Although the artificer one is based on the archivist artificer that Wizards published a while back. So it's kind of just making some updates to that one. Let's see. Anybody have anything else they want to plug?
No,
Nope.
just be kind to each other, love each other.
Stay home.
This is
Be kind.
wash your
Pet your
hands.
pets.
Doing
Wash your
depressing
hands.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We miss you.
yes.
And I just want
and
to stress the stay home thing again. Like
yeah.
seriously, just
Yeah.
stay home.
Yeah, like I work in healthcare. I have to.
Yeah.
I work in residential healthcare. There's no days off for me. I'm doing everything that I can to be distancing when I am not at work.
Yeah.
So please,
And
please,
you should
please.
too. Darn it.
Yeah.
The more we stay home, the quicker we get out of this.
Yes.
Also, although we are not sort of broadcasting this from the TV station, we just want to thank PCTV for when we
Yes.
normally are doing this show, for providing their sort of technical support and broadcasting opportunity. So we're going to try and see if I can get this formatted for PCTV, but no promises. So
We'll do it. It'll be fine.
okay, that takes a little bit more work, but
I mean, it goes on at 2 a.m. anyway, so.
yeah, you know. So with that, we are signing off. So as always, everybody, have fun, happy gaming, and enjoy your pie cake.
Bye, everybody.